Hello everyone and welcome back to Smite Prime, where the plays are always top of the line premium. We just saw some pretty gosh darn good ones executed by former Smite Prime winners in last week's Jump Team Jump Machine as they continued to chug their way on to finals. Now we got one more semis coming right at you. It's D'Lo and Musi here to provide it. Tess and Rosie Almighty Eye in the sky alongside Jithens and Auburn behind the curtain running the scenes. Bible study up against the bakery here. Got to make sure. We talked about running your numbers before. Hopefully they've studied up.
I mean, truly, with Easter's like tomorrow, so I think Bible study has like an inherent like buff, right? That's what I'm thinking. Surely, but also
they're
the bakery
eggs,
does
though.
bread, and then there's like bread stuff going on, so like they're up there too.
Ooh. Who wins the communion clash is, I guess, the question. But we'll find out shortly. Bible study, what if you see them like just looking for eggs? Like they don't even care. They're celebrating the holiday. They're not even looking for objectives. There's like, I gotta that nuance skin, man. I need 3 more. Let me grab these real quick.
Don't we all?
All right. Anyway, game coming at us in just a second. And we have some interest here because Bakery, team we've seen before in Smite Prime history, before it actually took a hiatus, I got to see them operate pretty gosh darn well. Back then, Jingwei was a solid pick that I think they operated pretty gosh darn well. We saw it used just prior. Didn't quite get too much going. I mean, to be fair, you said that Artemis wasn't what you're expecting to be a priority pick. Now, having seen what Tegvir is capable of, do you say that's the god or is the man behind it?
I want to say it's a bit of a combination of both, right? Because Tegvir is a very talented player, especially in that duo lane, and Artemis is a character that can absolutely enable a player's strengths. If you're really good at positioning, if you're good at landing your autos and your abilities, Artemis is a character that can just win a game for you. And because she has that innate ability to say no to characters that try to dive on top of her, you are able to put yourself in an incredibly safe and advantageous position. So Artemis is definitely still worth high pick contention, but I don't know about top pick.
We'll be finding out shortly if that's still the case as we hop into P's and B's right here. P's and B's, and like we said before, standing for Bari. Ban Bari. Do it. And also, if you're up against our friends on Jump Machine, ban Cab. Not the case here, so hopefully they'll be feeling a bit better about that. But look at the names before us. A lot of top pedigree. Oh, shoot. No, they listen to me. All right, my bad. They're right. Ban Cab.
Dude, the bakery roster looks insane.
Oh yeah, they have some upgrades. Aurora was not on there before, I don't think.
That's crazy. Okay, so Bible study absolutely have their work cut out for them going into this. It's gonna be tough, but not impossible. It'll be curious to see how they respond to everything in these picks and bans. Already taking things away like the Cabrakan and Artemis. Good soup, good eats, good cooking, because these characters do so much. Now, what's the first pick priority? There are a lot of really solid answers available. I would say something like Fenrir. Yeah, there it is.
Smart.
You want to talk about broken gods? Want to talk about the dog inside you? Dude, this character brings so much to the table. They are tanky. They can still do a ridiculous amount of damage. You have Ragnarok that's good for picks, as well as forcing out beads and CC Mutant Ultimates. This character literally does it all and can absolutely just scoop through the enemy jungle level 1 if you have that aspect as well. It's almost uncontested. It takes multiple people to slow this Fenrir down.
Yeah, Karmic, it's good to see you back so soon. I thought you were in finals, but it does seem that Bible study will be grabbing you for a bit longer. It's also important, I think, that they're taking that away from Aurora, who in my mind, when I think Fenrir is one of the best pilots of that god, both in jungle or in support, is where you see them rocking it. Zeus is going to be the first pick from the bakery alongside the Thor. We're really bringing the thunder now.
It's that 1-2 punch, the lightning and the thunder. Okay, Zeus, huh? First pick Zeus for the bakery in a mobile god. It shows a lot of confidence in a pick like this. And honestly, I don't know where he's going, because your first reaction is to say it's going mid, but I've seen Zeus support, I've seen Zeus ADC, and I saw you look at that Odin, and I'm thinking the same thing. They're going into a cage, so now we need things like Shell, or else Zeus never has a chance to fly in the sky.
You need bolt cutters, dude. You're not getting out easily. That's gonna be really difficult. We talked about the fact that, like, sure, Shell's nice for getting you out, but if you're not grouped up properly, if you have your support far away from Zeus, then you're going to be cooked. This is trouble in my opinion. I am glad to see they get the Achilles. Okay, I expected it that either Odin and Achilles was going to be up next for the mark, or it was going to be Hecate Odin, and that's a tried and true combo, right? Even if you do get out of the cage, you're not safe from being pulled right back in. Now we see some answers that can easily escape. That makes me happy. On Her, I think, is a really solid pick to ensure that we don't have to burn big relics, big ultimates to ensure we're free from the shackles.
I think that Zeus is going support. I think
No
that
way.
Zeus is going to support. I think Aurora is playing Zeus this game. And
Okay.
I call me nuts. We're probably looking at something
You're
like
nuts.
maybe like an Aladdin mid. Does Moswell play Aladdin mid?
We do need
That
more
would go
magical
super
threats.
hard here. Like, I think
Okay.
Aladdin mid goes ridiculous if the Bakery are able to scoop that up for themselves.
I see the vision. I low-key see it. I also see a Baron Samity just going to add more annoyance as more CC, more grouping that enables an Odin cage to be that much more effective. Jingwei, I talked about the Bakery, how they really favored this pick in their previous Smite Prime outings, and now it's going to be operated on Bible study. So it seems like they maybe have done their homework in terms of knowing what the members of the Bakery like to operate on, but they clearly were not expecting what we're seeing here before us. Neither are we. If it is indeed Zeus on that Aurora support, what does that bring you? What does that benefit you? I guess we can wait for the theoretical to see in that case, because what we need to really focus on is the last pick. What should it be filled with?
So we need an answer to the Fenrir as well as to the damage that Hecate is able to throw out on top of the Bakery. So I personally, a character with a lot of burst, a character that has the potential to just kill somebody, I'm thinking Aladdin.
Yeah.
Even something like if it was Paul in the Bakery right now for this mid lane, Pele would go also really strong here. Yeah, you have that
True.
4-to-1 Fizz magical difference, but a character that's able to dive on top of Hecate because she's got no mobility to be able to get away from you outside of forcing an ultimate. The Bakery already has a lot of tools to say, like, if we get jumped on by Fenrir, by Odin Cage, we have responses. So it's Aphrodite. Okay. Not a Zeus support. I'm a little sad. I think
You
it
had
would- I
me
think it would've
believing
cooked.
it.
I
I was
was
sipping your Kool-Aid.
drinking it. I'm not gonna lie. That Kool-Aid, it was glug 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 glug, you know? But Aphrodite does answer a lot of potential problems that the Bible study team composition throws at the Bakery. Undying Love not only turns off Ragnarok, but also it turns off things like Life of the Party from Barrett Samdi. And
That's
then
good.
you also have the Kiss you can throw out. So if you catch Hecate or Jingwei, that lets Achilles on her Thor, Zeus lay a lot of damage into there. The Bakery team comp looks honestly kind of disgusting.
Let's see what they're cooking up for this Easter Saturday as we hippity hop into the next semifinals. Game coming at you. All right, Bible study in the Bakery. Who has more religious zeal? We're back to the Inquisition here. It's Musi and Dilo here to bring you the historical action. Test and Rosie are almighty eyes in the sky. Jithan and Anavran are men behind the curtain. We're going to be finding out shortly how this early game dynamic goes. Musi, walk me through it.
So already, I just want to highlight the fact that Aurora and Donut Doug both have shells to combat this Odin cage, but Odin's actually all the way over in that solo lane, so that gives an opportunity for NMR to potentially make a gank, a rotation when Ragnarok comes online, as long as they're able to bait out either Undying Love or the On Her ultimate. Because they don't have beads, there's a lot of potential there, and because you have tempo on this Baron Samedi, being able to force those out is an absolute possibility. So that initially, that's where my head lies. Then, Zeus and Hecate, right? How do these things stack up? And also, what is NMR doing back there by this red buff?
Sniffing around, it would seem, trying to get a sneaky steal off. Does have Sunder as well, so really liable to just try to bother them with that. But a great stun, actually, completely shuts down any possibility. NMR does manage to keep the Sunder in their pocket. Achilles had to use theirs, but at the very least, no steal for the Bible study.
This will give the opportunity for the Bakery to try to move into Bible Studies jungle now. But like you said, NMR still has Sunder, so in theory, they should be able to secure the buff, but NMR has to stay aware because Zeus is right there.
You do have your own mid here to back you up, but Hecate early game, especially if you're missing triplicate visions, is nothing to really worry about. Baron's Brew applied, and NMR nearly dies. Another red buff goes in the pockets of the Bakery. They're feeling greedy. Bible Studies shut out from their own jungle.
So now Sino has an option to see how far you want to take this lead, being able to take away that first red buff, putting that good foot forward. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but fortunately for Bible study, Sino doesn't look like want to put pressure onto the speed buff, so it's going to be that restraint from the bakery. They're not trying to be hyper aggressive quite yet, but Sino now has the opportunity to hit 5 before Fenrir, so looking at the dual lane could have a lot of potential. I think Baron definitely gets shut out by this Achilles. Again, lack of mobility. Once that Baron hits that health threshold for the execute, especially if they don't have their heal available, Sino should be able to just connect that ultimate and kill the Baron Samedi on cooldown.
That's gonna be a really scary trump card to watch out for. So curious to see how the tempo is set once indeed the tempo starts to rotate around. Speaking of that, actually, now looking at it, the rotation ability of these teams is pretty interesting. You have the Jingwei, who can really be anywhere in quite a flash once she backs. And you also have the Thor, once again locked to solo lane. We obviously know Thor from Smite 1 as always a jungler, sometimes a solo, oftentimes here in Smite 2. You see that landscape a bit reversed. You also see Hecate trying to reverse that pressure, potentially considering a rotation on that right side. If you're the bakery, when do we want to see Dishonored start to rotate?
Honestly, as soon as we start looking at objectives like Gold Fury, I want to see Dishonored go over there. You can rotate out of solo lane and be fine as long as you get something from it. Make something happen for your team. Early game objectives like Gold Fury is 100% worth it. And a tool like that Anvil of Dawn, dunking down on top of characters like Baron or even Hecate, like, that's value. That gives follow-up potential for the rest of your team, and that is what helps confirm objectives.
We'll find out shortly if they indeed oblige to it, because I think the rotations from both the Allfather and his son could absolutely be incredibly impactful. We saw the fact that Odin Cage, once again, kind of in that last game, didn't really end up having too much of an impact. We want to see it be used a bit more convincingly in an offensive, aggressive manner. Level 5 difference here for Sino, securing those back cams. NMR's just gotta be sick of this guy hop, skipping, and leaping through his jungle.
Well, you can see Baron Samedi makes the rotation over. So for now, Sino is there.
Oh, brutalized. Ziggs where he's at. Gonna go to evade that fatal strike, but a great lightning storm. Inclement weather. Every dog's worst fear as it comes and shakes him down to his core. 2 kills for the bakery.
And now we're moving right onto the purple buff and onto Jingwei, already down to half, but no ultimate available for Sino means that they don't quite have the chase potential. They're gonna settle for that purple buff instead.
Just trying to body block those AoE arrows. Won't be able to find the mark, as I do believe that was a steal snagged there for the bakery. They got to get out quickly, though. The Bible study have mustered reinforcements. A lazy back going instantly punished, but a Phantom Shell ensures that Achilles stays alive. NMR might have spawned just to die once more. What a great disperse and a fantastic back off me. Donut Dog takes the kill.
I was about to chastise Sino for the laziest back I have seen in my life.
You mean the best bait?
It was the greatest bait, the best bait we've ever seen. Wonderful bait over here in Smite Prime.
Love it.
Love that for them. Sino just says, hey, I'm just gonna back over here, and then the rest of Bible study tries to jump on top of it, but the damage from Donut Doug, I mean, it's too much to handle. And now the bakery have pretty healthy lead so early in this game, and a lot of it is given to Sino on this Achilles jungle, which is already a terror to deal with just by the virtue of the fact that they are Achilles jungle. Now they're going everywhere. I would expect that Sino is going to put even more pressure onto this dual lane. When that purple timer comes back up, bakery will be there to contest that buff and to find whatever kills they can in the area.
We're open for business, baby. Anytime your purple buff's up, make sure to watch out for that on the left side. So then where do we reverse the pressure? Does Bible study need to take a stand around that purple buff, or do we need to try to just focus our attentions elsewhere to put someone else ahead?
Zeus could be a potential target for NMR with this Fenrir because they really just lack the mobility. They do have that speed sim and that can keep them out of danger, but if you can chase after him, he's got nowhere to go. Ragnarok, open the gates, try to force that Zeus a little bit closer to you and just blow him up.
Well, so far, not going to be obliged. In fact, they're dealing out the damage instead, forcing Hecate into quite a precarious situation. Aphrodite decides to dive the tower. Not sure if that's quite the best idea, but I guess you have the heals to back it up. So ultimate for ultimate exchanged here, but you do keep that Undying Love and Pock. You might need it as well. Baron Samedi making a rotation to try to back up Kai. See Achilles as well, trying to force an issue here. Once again, just lurking around in the enemy team's jungle. At some point, Bible Study have got to try to stop him in his tracks.
Well, if Cyno can farm into Bible Study's jungle, that means that the rest of the bakery is just able to get huge off of their own side of the jungle. So Cyno is being just the biggest menace to Bible Study, specifically NMR, stopping this Fenrir from ever getting a chance to get online. And look at this build from Cyno, Avenging Blade. So the strategy with this item is similar to how you would use Frenzy Dagger or Hydra's Lament. You're weaving autos into your abilities, and the whole time, every time you hit, if NMR is stuck in the jungle with Cyno, they are slowed. They've got nowhere to go.
Yep, the natural elements are against you. And now you can see, once again, Bakery's open, baby, looking for that purple buff, just like you said. It's clockwork, Musy, and it's bearing such great fruit. 7 minutes in, 3,000 gold lead, 3 kills, and no objectives to even speak of. And Bible Study just got to try to find their own farm, but they just can't get it in the jungle.
It's very clear that the macro play from the Bakery is just so good. They're on top of these timers. They are exactly where they need to be at any given time. It's only a matter of time before the bounce tips Thorold. Whoa, down on Fenrir.
Great rotation. Is this what you asked for once again? Open the gate's gonna bring him even closer. NMR, upon hearing it, has to pop their ultimate to keep himself safe. Tempo invites friends to the party, but they're just a bit too rowdy for my liking. Cyno gonna throw a bit of a fit and take him down instead. Tier 1 gonna be torn down brick by brick as well, and unfortunately all Kaidan can do is watch.
And that's why we rotate out of the solo lane. It's to find objectives. Not only do you get a kill, you're gonna get that tier 1 tower, and you have 4 people chilling over there. It could be a Gold Fury, but the Bakery instead say, no, we're not gonna get too crazy with it. We got what we needed, we got our W. Now we're gonna back up, spend some gold, come back at it a little bit stronger. So the Bible Study team, what do you do about this, man? Like, what's the response? It really just has to be defending your buffs on the timers. You know that the Bakery are going to be there on that purple buff. Rally together and defend it. You know that Cyno's going to walk through your jungle. Grab your mid laner, grab your support, fight him for it. If you end up dying, honestly, so be it, man. You have to put up an answer to the things that the Bakery are trying to do. If you just let them do it, they're going to kill you.
Trying to kill this Baron at the moment. Gonna find some good damage, liable to do so. Donut Doug with that pillar slows down the retreat a ton. Tempo barely able to march out. No, Donut Doug finds one more spear into their backside, and the Baron Samity will fall once more. Just the lightning grip they have around the throats of this dual lane is too much for them to bear. Bible Study now lurking in the back wins to see them go for Gold Fury. NMR tries to go for a roar, but a fantastic pillar forces a brutalize. Desert Fury comes out here. Cats v Dogs, a tail as old as time. The kiss goes a bit wide, that's A-okay. Unchained over the wall. Finally finds safety, but a good impale. Instead, just gonna find Kaiveka. They take to the skies, the airstrike buys him space. NMR erased instead. And now a Beast comes out there from Kai to save them from that crash down of the Thor. The Bakery just continues to cook. What a fantastic wall. Completely locks Baron Samity out from the rest of their friends. Dishonored will fall thanks to a good open the gates coming from Kai, and guarantees that actually Tempo's able to stay alive.
No, the get back here from Bible Study. Jingwei, the damage is just not enough, and Bakery is too fast. Not only do you have the movement speed stim from Zeus, but everybody else is able to make space for them. They go back in.
I don't know if the purple buff's worth your life, buddy. Cyno doesn't even need the fatal strike. They deliver instead with some regular spear blows. Kaiveka goes down.
They didn't know that the Bakery would go back in after they were so low, but look, you have an Afro attached. You literally don't care.
Yeah, Undying Love means I'm not going anywhere. Might not be able to say the same for you. Phantom Shell expended. Great Consigned Spirits keeps everyone in good spirits and high health, but Achilles has got too much damage to bear. Cyno finally shut down. Aurora gets taken off as well. Nice work there by Bible Study to hang on and just keep on pushing.
Bible Study had to commit to that fight. They had to get something for all of the woes that the Bakery had put them through just previously. So with that, they're able to get themselves a bit of gold, a bit of mental get back. You can tell yourself, hey, we're still in this. It's not over. We just had a little bit of a rough stumble, but now we can start to stabilize. Now we can get back into the game, but talk about guts from both Cyno and Aurora to stand there against everybody that the Bible study team threw at them to say, nah, we'd win. Nah, we're gonna win this. That's terrifying.
Honestly, it just goes to show that when you get to this level of play, you're always down but never out. And that's what Bible Study have. They have the experience. I mean, look at these names. NMR, Kaiveka, John Rowing as well, just kind of slowly plotting with their rowboat in the solo lane. Once they rotate, they're deathless. They've been keeping not only even, but ahead of their quarry, who's over here in the left lane instead. Getting ahead on the kills at the very least. Takes down Tempo pretty handily. Counter rotation, though, could be the key. Now John Rowing makes their entrance, but can't quite catch their son from their schemes as they're able to TP back to safety. Once this Odin, though, I think gets involved, that could be the answer. Let's find out around this Gold Fury. First one of the entire game. John Rowing goes in, maybe a bit too deep for their own troubles. They wad into the midst of the members. Donut Dunk, though, gets taken out. John Rowing's on the board, and now NMR's gonna follow. Mosswall gets taken out, takes a big bite of Aurora. Kaiveka grabs the double onto Dishonored as well. NMR will fall from Cyno's hands, but they're gonna be taken out right after. Kaidon with the killing spree. Bible Study with the DSI.
Bible Study, what a great response there as the bakery tried to start to commit to this Gold Fury. Health bars are really low, and this time we did have that Odin cage. John Rowing jumps onto the backline, forces everybody to look at him, and they're way too tanky so they don't get blown up immediately like the bakery would want them to. This lets Kaidon land a huge open the gates. The damage connects. Everybody was already low to begin with, so at that point, it's grab a mop, grab a cleaning rag, clean up the rest of the fight, and then get yourself a Gold Fury as well after all said and done. So now Bible Study, they were behind pretty much the whole point leading up to this game, but now they start to stabilize a little bit more now that they get to fight together, and they don't have to worry about Cyno just being an absolute menace in every fight.
I mean, think about the fact that Bakery had so much time on top. Look at all those shutdowns that were delivered into their pockets. Now Bible Study say, a Naga too? Thank you very much. We'll take that to go. Now it could be trouble for Kaiveka at the same time as they try to defend that purple buff. Luckily, don't stake their life on it. Or maybe I spoke too soon. Kaiveka goes in deep and the dual lane does not quite like it. The Bakery trying to finish them off. Barely able to escape is that Jingwei, and the cost of it is going to be a nice little Naga in favor of Bible.
I'll take that trade. Like, unfortunately, Kaiveka kind of left stranded around that purple buff, but the global gold, the objective, still picked up by Bible Studies. So you're like, okay, not the end of the world. And with these eggs, maybe we can start to look at something like Pyromancer or hold on to it until FG spawns, go for something cheeky like that. But NMR now caught between a rock and a Cyno as they are looked to go and get engaged.
Scariest situation to be in. Cyno, though, has lost a bit of the threat, a bit of the bite behind that bark, and NMR's got plenty of their own right. Trying to just secure their own jungle for once in their life. The sweet taste of your own buff. One unknown to Bible Study for so many minutes. Now it can finally be in your hands.
My precious, dear, sweet, precious speed buff, I've missed you. You don't have to worry about the scary man anymore. Oh, you know who does have to be worried though? Look at this on her. Look at everybody from Bible Study. Oh no, Donut Dog looks so delicious.
Yeah, I think it tastes like donuts. We'll find out shortly. The Harpy is going to find out first as they try to take on some of the damage. Donut Dog with a great impale, trying to take down the Fenrir before they go, but Kaiveka's damage a bit too good as they find the return kill. Even up the board as well, 9-9.
Uh-oh, now Cyno looks really low. Where's the follow-up?
Not going to be had. A great eternal love there from Yafro. Make sure to keep him safe, sustains him through all the damage. The cage, once again, is proving to be impactful. And once we see everyone grouped up forward, I genuinely think Bible Study now is turning to win these fights. All because John Rowing stayed loyal to the solo lane. They never stopped farming until they were really ready to make a splash.
Unfortunate the Bakery weren't able to find enough in these early engagements. They weren't able to find enough objectives. You can even see it with the Gold Fury pips. Bible Study have won over the Bakery. Now NMR is jumping onto the Bakery, but who do they care about?
Well, ultimate in pocket, they decided not to expend it, knowing that Afro might have that ultimate, but you gotta imagine that the calm was had. Since that Undying level was down, I would have liked to see NMR, honestly, try to take a big, juicy bite out of someone, even if it's not one of those donuts. Instead, Dishonored steps up. NMR once again sniffing around these red buffs. Fight in the mid lane, breaks out and earns some good body blocks. Cersei's Hexstone does allow
Doors up.
Tempo a clear path through. Bible Study's a bit separated right now as two members need to try to exit stage right. The Bakery gonna be forced to use that Thor ult. Dishonored a bit too eager to get to the punch, and now you don't have the Anvil of Dawn for the next fight.
I like the backup there from Bible Study. When you see that Thor ultimate is up and in the air, you go, okay, everybody, disengage, right? We're out, we win, we got your ult. It's the small victories like that that pan out, and it opens up to these big fights.
Open the Gate's not going to find any big pulls. Instead, is looking for that Zeus, but again, the Undying Love comes a bit on time. You should have maybe used that ultimate when you had the chance. Now, going to be coming from the Baron instead. Lightning Storm is the response. Tempo doesn't take too much damage from it. And Achilles and Donut Doug, as well as the Thor, not even present for this. They all recognize that this is just kind of looking for stat padding because that Baron and that Afro can just heal it all back.
I really liked Tempo's Baron ult there. Did you see the 360 that he did? Making sure that they didn't pull in Aurora, it was about pulling in Moswall. And even though it connects, because Aurora is connected to Moswall, they're just too tanky, they have so much healing.
So much respect being given on each side of this battlefield. It's 9-9, which is a good reason for it. This game is dead even. Now we're fighting over oracles instead. Table scraps. Baron Samity might be taken off the table in just a moment. A great wall from Thor forces out the Phantom Shell. We got walls of our own though. Odin drops them. Not to much good effect, and now they're in trouble. Forced to lunge back to safety. The Bakery on chase. A great impale right into the wall. You have to go around that. John rowing back to the river sticks. An amazing kill by the Bakery.
That was such a sick combination of abilities. It is wild what Dishonored has been able to force out with these Thor walls alone. No Odin cage here for the Bible Study, no Odin at all. The 4v5, the Gold Fury. Can the Bakery confirm it?
Open the Gates just popped up. Kaidan might just be the Holy Ghost to try to take them down. Turning Thor into a ghost in a second, forces the TP. Donut Doug grabs it for the Bakery, and now they grab a Thor for takeaway. Kaidan, not really happy with what they picked up, decides to retreat instead. Fenrir deciding if they want to continue to force the issue, and the answer is going to be a resounding no. The Bakery on the board with objectives.
Bakery wins that entire engagement because they were able to find that pick onto John Rowing, and they were able to find that pick onto John Rowing because that Odin ult got forced way too early and didn't find enough value at all. I would even hazard to say it was a total whiff, right? It just didn't connect the way that we needed to. We didn't find the value. And because of that, now the Bakery gets to tie it up in terms of Gold Fury pips. They leave the base a little bit faster, and they've got a little bit more gold. They start to pull ahead once again. All it takes is for the Bakery to really start coordinating with each other once more and respect the Bible Study team. You can't just go around willy-nilly. You got to treat every engagement with a lot of gravity, with a lot of gravitas. You have to force things out like the ultimates.
I'm just curious, like, who leads here? There's so much initiation on each side, and clearly both teams are fairly willing to scrap. So, if on paper you're looking for the ideal fight, should it be Bible Study waiting for the Bakery to get things started and responding with cages and Ragnaroks, or are they the ones who want to get things started at their own tempo?
Bible Study feels to me... Uh-oh, tempo. Speaking of tempo.
They might be in a bit of a spot of bother, but as in plenty of health, plenty of tank to speak of, does unfortunately force Kaidan to use ultimate to potentially protect him. I think Tempo's really got to be careful. You were standing in the bushes, but you're the one who's getting ambushed somehow, despite having the draw in terms of vision. There was no one there to back you up. I think we're just getting a bit too confident with our position.
And Baron, a character, again, no mobility, but Bible Study finds a Pyromancer, sneaks it out from underneath the nose of the Bakery. Thor ult?
Gonna be crashing down on top of his dad, but just says, go back to your room. And Thor will oblige. Does not want to stand up to potentially get grounded. FG, next on the mark since all other objectives are down. And I ask you the question once more, Musi, who starts these fights in theory?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Bible Study have a few ways to get in there. John Rowing, NMR, Tempo as well. Tempo to me, it feels like they're a follow-up off of what NMR and John Rowing can force out from the Bakery. Hello.
Look
Cyno?
at all the damage being forced on top of Cyno. Airstrike in the sky, glitches out a little bit, says, whoa, I'm dissociating, need to go back home. Kaiveka lands safe.
I am overstimulated. I'd like down from the uppies, please. Like, no thank you. But you have Tempo to follow up of John Rowing and NMR. And with NMR, Ragnarok is mostly a tool that's going to be used to either pick up somebody who isn't connected to Afro or force out that Undying Love so that Tempo can scoop up the actual target. And we saw that earlier in the mid lane with that 360.
Oh, finishes the job. Donut Dog with a few more spears in the back. Kaiveka will go down. 9-11 here, 21 minutes in. Very slight gold lead the bakery's way. Gotta be a profitable business. 1K up. Tempo, once again, where are you standing? Where are you wind spriting to? The boar's gonna charge, but Thor's in the sky. And now, unfortunately, Baron's gonna find themselves walled off. Quickly puts it back down, though. Instead, Sonner decides to go looking for Hecate. Kaido, though, standing pretty strong. There has it open the gates available. Stuns out the Thor for a moment, but cannot save their friend Tempo. Once again, stood too far up for their own good.
It is, I mean, I've been saying it, you've been saying it, we've all been saying it. Baron, no mobility, just gets super caught out by characters like Thor and characters like Achilles who can just chase them down. Now the Bible study has to try to fight this 3v5. The bakery have an opportunity to look at Fire Giant or more.
Wow.
John Rowling taking a lot of poke.
What a great impale. I mean, we got to talk about how Donut Dog's been so on point with those. Forces a defensive cage, but with that cage is going to be able to stall the Achilles from approaching with that execute threshold. Jingwei lands from out of nowhere, but instantly charges face first into a pillar like a bird hitting a windowsill. Now the FG is next on the mark. Fenrir grabs that tier 1 in mid for a bit of extra global gold. No chance or time to spend it, though. We got FG business to attend to. 2 pyro bombs in pocket for Bible study, but can they close the distance to put them to good use? Knocks up the Thor, but the TP back to safety before flying up to the sky. The bakery decide to unleash the objective.
Pyromancer respawning soon. Thor crashes down into nothing, but NMR still looking to harass in the back line. Bakery showing a bit of restraint, not quite going for it, but that does open the door for Pyromancer to be picked up by Bible Study. So at the end of the day, Bible Study do come out from that engagement. 1 pyro bomb up. So, it's kind of weird that the bakery decided to let that go, at least to me, because they should have been able to turn on NMR once they saw it.
Oh no. Oh, great wind sprite there to get safety, but here comes the rotation from the Odin as well. They decide they don't want any further part in this fight, not knowing who lies waiting in the wings. But Tempo, once again, didn't get the memo. Caught out by themselves, forces Cersei's Hexstone back to safety. Now tries to invite them back on in. Fatal Strike to get to safety as well, but a cage blocks your path out. And here come the Jingwei arrows to meet your end. Donut Dug, the first one gobbled up. Sino and Maswal awfully low. Odin trying to take advantage. Very least the Zeus is able to escape, and the rest of Bakery the same story. Bible Study now can rotate to the FG.
Kaidon did a ridiculous amount of damage in that engagement. Suddenly Bakery had pretty healthy looking health bars, and all of a sudden, boom, down to nothing. Dishonored. Are they in the air?
Sky. Scary stuff here. Where does Thor land is going to be the question. Kaiveka's the one dealing all the damage, but they have eyes only for Kaidon. But look at the health bar. Still not dropping down that low. NMR does not find the mark with the Unchained. Could have used it a bit later. And now it might just be Dishonor going down first. No, able to TP back to safety. NMR is still in hot pursuit. Sino looks for Kaidon. Finally takes down their quarry for the big shutdown. 1 for 1 so far, but Donut Dug is still dead, so advantage goes to Bible Study. Sino has to find their way out to safety. Not going to be granted easily, especially thanks to those arrows. Now lurking in the bushes. One more finds their back. Sino goes down.
So the Bakery are able to take Kaidon off the board, which is necessary in order for them to start winning team fights at this stage of the game. Hecate does so much damage now, especially too that they have the Ratatouille online. But they lose 2 people for it. Dishonored wasn't able to finish the job. Sino does, but the get back from Bible Study means that they go down. Bible Study gets to take a look at this Gold Fury, but nothing else. The Bakery need to kind of tighten up a little bit, clean up what they're doing. They have all the tools. It just feels like it's a little disjointed. Like,
agreed.
If we had more follow-up from what Dishonored was going for, then Kaidon dies from that engagement almost immediately. But it takes too long for the damage to come out, and the rest of the Bakery is shoved back by NMR.
Even though there's all that initiation that Bible Study have that you mentioned before between John Rowing, between NMR, it's not really necessary because the Bakery just keep kind of offering themselves up on a silver platter, like some delicious pastries. You got to kind of be a bit more conservative, especially I'd say with the Thorals, or if you're going in, like you said, coordinate. The rest of the team needs to understand that the prime directive is take down Kaidon, and that way we can eliminate them a bit quicker. Even when we do get the kill, it's taking far too much time and far too many rotations of abilities.
Now that we're here, the Bakery and Bible Study, Initially, the Bakery had so much tempo leading into this game. It felt like they were just going to run away with it, but Bible Study stabilize and hit their late game stride. And honestly, it's down to the fact that they've just been able to execute a little bit better at this stage than the Bakery. But once the Bakery is able to actually coordinate their efforts a bit more, I do feel like Bible Study team does start to crumble. They have to be careful not to get picked off.
They just got to stay with the rest of the team, especially when you consider the fact that you have an Aurora. You have an Afro who wants to stay connected, and if you're getting discombobulated, it's because you're out of range of those lovely kisses. Good impale there to force more damage onto Tempo for stepping up a bit too far. Pyromancer drop down to a quarter. The Bakery take control, and they will take the objective as well. So, 1 bomb to 3, and if we're continuing the theme of math, that is still less. I'm pretty sure at the very least. NMR tries to go into even the odds with a bit of bluster, but not going to be able to find anything. Bible Studies start up this FG. The Bakery, though, are on the wings and are aware. They have a bomb now of their own to respond with, but Dishonored looking awfully low for their trouble, forced to TP just to safety. There is none, though. Odin goes in, looking to spank their son over their knee, and they indeed will be obliged. Dishonored, the first to go down. Airstrike not going to find too much. Instead, just tries to close the distance. Good stun from John Rowing to keep up that pressure. Bible Study looking once again for that FG, but Sino's waiting in the wings.
Moswall and Dishonored did not have ultimate available for that fight, and because of that, Bible Study are able to walk up with no fear. But Bakery is still here. The potential is still here. Fire Giants at half.
Aurora has ultimate to try to get that good get out of jail free card. Here comes the lightning storm, instantly obliterates Tempo. Jingwei goes in just to strike him twice. Moswall on the killing spree, but they're in trouble now. A great Undying Love, and now Kaidon's looking to go down next. Triple kill there for Moswall on top of NMR and John Rowing. That Raven shout won't be saving you this much time, as they're looking to get one last poke in the back. The shield bash does it. It's a double, it's a deicide for the Bakery.
And the Bakery got the Fire Giant on top of everything. They have FG. Whoa. All right. Zeus damage. When you have that giant ultimate circle, you have to respect that. You cannot just go willy-nilly into these Fire Giant pits. And Bible Study are dead for a good chunk of time. Tempo will be here in a bit, but it's not enough to save the Phoenix. I don't know if Bakery end here, but they get quite a bit. They're walking up.
They're walking up menacingly. This is dangerous territory. Dodges consigned spirits as well, so Sino in still pretty good amounts of health, and the Afro's gonna ensure it's getting topped off. Kaiveka is up and ready. Invited to the party is the On Her. CC immune for a good amount of time, and the damage is raining true on top of Aurora, but somehow able to escape. Kaiveka spawns just to be struck by lightning one more time. Bible Study on their last leg. Sino brought back in close for an up close and personal demonstration of Kaidon's skills. They will fall too. NMR on the chase, but won't be able to quite find much other than some nice intimidation bonus.
No, it's not going to stop them from trying at the very least. But the Bakery still have Aphrodite and FG's another laying a trap. NMR
in trouble. The wall barely able to save him from being closed off. The impale was perfect, but the damage right after just not quite enough. And Moswall just continuing to pour out these detonations, and the damage on top of Aurora not quite enough to finish the job thanks to that Phantom Shell. Spell Eater not able to gobble up any of these pastry pals as NMR will go down. Dishonored takes the kill. John Rowing once again will fall at the hand of Moswall's bolts. It seems that the king of the Pantheon, Zeus, ends up winning. Kaidon, no friends, no life remaining. Baron Samity tries to save him, but just has to watch in horror as Moswall is unstoppable.
Jumps over with the wind sprites. Tempo, soon to follow as Dishonored. Blind.
Here comes Kaiveka. We have the AoE arrows. It's a lot of good damage. Consigned Spirits heals him back up too. Kaiveka takes the skies. Thor follows suit. Can't get up before Tempo drops him down. The Lovebirds are applied, but Kaiveka still standing strong. Not for much longer. Moswall, as well as the Afro, get one more deicide. And now On Her can finish the job. The Bakery cook up a victory.
That whole fight, I'm not gonna say none of it even mattered, but it was all just a distraction for Donut Doug to start soloing the Titan. Look at all the minions that piled in there. The chase that Bible Study had onto Bakery, they just went a little too far with it. They neglected the fact that the fire minions were gonna start piling into that throne room. And Donut Doug's like, dude, I'm not interested in killing these guys. I'm interested in killing the Titan. Have fun. And because Jing Wei uses their passive to go all the way past, there's nobody left, no opposition remaining for Donut Doug to just be able to scoop through and take it all. Dude, all off the back of that Zeus ult and Sino taking away the FG, wiping everybody. All the kills are staggered. They just run it straight down, lay a trap, and then run it down again.
You mentioned the fact that they're initially at that FG fight, before things all turned so sour, it was actually a really good start. We got picks for our friends on the opposite side. They were able to take down a couple members of the bakery because Mosswall and Aurora didn't have anything up. They didn't have the Lightning Storm up. The moment Mosswall was able to be left to their own devices to bring it back one more time is the moment everything fell apart. It's so unfortunate to say because it seemed like just a hairspring away from being a completely different outcome. End of the day though, Mosswall popped off. And we were scratching our heads saying, man, Zeus first pick, atypical. 9-1? I'm going to shut my mouth, Mosswall. Take my money.
Yeah, I was like, man, maybe we don't let Mosswall have Zeus. That's certainly something to think about going into the next game with them. His character did so much damage and largely went unanswered because it's very difficult to jump at the Zeus because who's connected to them most of the time? Aurora, the Birds of Love, you got Undying Love, a lot of love thing going on with Aphrodite. I wonder what's going on with that. But there to keep Zeus alive and set up, you have to kiss the throw out as well so that Mosswall can easily confirm their damage with a character that already has a button that instantly confirms damage. It's just too much to deal with.
Bible study, unfortunately, were just not devout enough, and they'll be sent back to religious school to learn something about how to play up against this gosh darn Zeus. Brackets coming up for you in just a second so we can see the almighty results for our long-awaited finals. And that is going to be an interesting one to behold here. Jump Machine up against the Bakery. Musi, your thoughts for what's going to be a banger of a final series?
So Jump Machine won last week. They are kind of the champions going into this, but the Bakery have been looking really solid. Both of these teams have very good macro play. They are like professionals, they understand how the game works, and they know each other as well. These are all pro players at this point. And honestly, I'm so excited, I don't think I can call it from here. I gotta get into the game.
We'll be finding out shortly as we wait to hop into that game. Don't you dare go anywhere. Smite Prime Finals coming right at you after the break.
Hold me like you hold me, and